Chapter 4, Section 5, Scatterplots and Trendlines. Alright, the important vocabulary. Scatterplot, trendline, correlation, positive correlation, negative correlation, and no correlation. Moving on. Alright. Choose a scatterplot that best represents the relationship between the age of the car and the amount of money spent each year on repairs. Explain. Okay, so it gives us three graphs. Graph A, Graph B, Graph C. Looking at Graph A, oh, well, this is sort of common sense, but by looking at Graph A, it starts off at -4. So the age of the car by year is -4. Now, does it make sense? Because if you ask someone how old they are and they respond to you, I'm -4 years old. That's not possible. You can't be -4 years old. So that is a big no. Graph B, year 1, around 300. Graph 2, year 2, around 250. And it goes up from there. That is a maybe answer. That is a great graph. Because when you get a new car, you don't spend that much money on repairs. And as it gets older, it breaks down, breaks, so you spend more money on repairs. Moving on, Graph C. Oh, the first year you spend around $850. That's not right. But you could, by looking at this graph, as the car gets older, you spend less money on repairs. That doesn't make sense, so that's a no. So if you got Graph B, you are correct. It is a positive correlation to. Now I'm going to show you about that trend line I was talking about. Goes from there, goes up. The trend line shows, and it tells you that the graph, helps you figure out the correlation. So, like, if it was no correlation, all the dots would be everywhere, and it wouldn't be located around the trend line. All right, so the answer is Graph B. Choose a scatterplot that best represents the relationship between the number of minutes since a pie has been taken out of the oven and the temperature of the pie. Explain. 3 graphs: Graph A, Graph B, Graph C. Looking at Graph A. This is a great graph because right after the pie comes out of the oven, it is around 280 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is hot, hot, hot. And as it sits out, the temperature of the pie decreases. So it gets colder. It becomes around, gets to room temperature. I hope it's not 80 degrees, but it says it is. So the temperature of the pie cooled down in Graph A. So that would be and so looking at moving on to Graph B, we go back, we see another negative. And since the axis is time, there is no, people know that time does never goes into the negatives. So, right off the bat, that is a big no. You don't want that. You don't like it. You hate it. You don't want it. You don't want negatives in time, years, or age. Yeah. Alright, moving on to Graph C. Graph C is a good graph, but this is a tricky graph too. It looks accurate, but it is not. Because when you take a hot pie, out of the oven, it is hot, hot, hot. And the graph is saying, right after the pie comes out of the oven, it is 75 degrees. That's stupid. And then as time increases, the temperature of the pie increases. That doesn't make sense. So graph C is a no. And if you got graph A, you were correct. And what correlation is graph A? Negative correlation. Negative correlation. Yay. Moving on. Okay, this is a tricky one. It's actually not tricky, but alright. The table shows the number of Skittles eaten since the time they were opened. Graph the scatter plot using the given data. Alright, so we have our table here, and it's time since. It goes from time since open by minutes in Skittles. So it's first thing you do is look at the table and decide where you're going to label your axis. So you label, I'm going to label time on the bottom. Time, and don't forget about that minutes. And I want to label Skittles on the Y. Skittles. Alright, now we gotta number them. So time since. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got that, Skittles. I'm going to go by 5s, because that's what it should be. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30. Okay. Now we gotta put the data on this graph. So we're putting the data on the graph. Time since open 1. It's 7. So that will be around there. 2, 14. Around there. 3, 28. Around there. 4, 35. Around there. That's positive correlation, so you have to put positive correlation. That is how you would answer it. Then you would say as time progressed, the amount of Skittles eaten increased. 1996. Alright. So let's label this year. Label this species. Alright, goes 96. 96. Shoot. Sorry. 97. 98. 99. 2000. 01. 02. 02. And since the highest number is 91, let's go by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Shoot. Alright. So 96, it was 91. That was the highest it was ever been. So 91. So around there. 97, 79. Around there. 98. 62. So that's basically right there. 99. Oh, it drops to 11. So it's right there. 2000. 39. So it goes back up a little bit. Oh, 2001. 10. 2002. 9. So by looking at this graph, you can tell that it is a negative correlation. Negative correlation. And how you would answer this is as years go by, the number of species decreased. As you can see, it decreases. And it's negative correlation. That would be your answer. Alright, that is it for me. I hope you learned something. Please, I hope you give me a good grade too, Miss Scoville. So, thank you.